everyone, and welcome back to Mariana Math Books. My name is Mariana, and today I am here with a fun new tag. So this is not an original book tag because I didn't come up with the concept or the prompts, but it is not a tag that I saw first on BookTube. So in a sense, I am importing this tag from another BookTube community, and I thought it would be super fun to do it with books. So I am adapting it and importing it into books. The original tag comes actually from TarotTube, which is the corner of BookTube where people talk about tarot and tarot decks and reading tarot and reading oracle and all that type of stuff. As you can see from my little cards over there, I have been very into tarot lately. And so I have been binging a ton of TarotTube videos. March has been my not reading so many books but reading a lot of cards month. Anyway, so I have been binging a ton of TarotTube videos, and I came across this tag called seven decks for 7 deadly sins, which was created by Sylvain at the channel Sylvain's Deadly Sins, and the concept is pretty easy. He just gave prompts based on each of the 7 deadly sins, and people had to associate one of their decks from their collection with each deadly sin. I have been binging tons of videos of the 7 decks for deadly sins tag created by Sylvain, so I wrote to him and I asked him if I could adapt the tag into BookTube, so it would be the 7 deadly sins book tag, and he said that I could of course do it, so here I am doing it. I will of course link his original tag down below. Even if you are not a tarot reader, it's a super fun thing to watch. If you like books, you like printed material, right? So it's super fun to watch people associate different decks of cards with different deadly sins. Anyway, I'm not going to tag anyone. There's this thing that people do in the tarot community that I really enjoy, that they start tags but they don't tag anyone. They just inform people that it's a tag and that they can do a video response, and so whoever wants to creates a video and in the title of the video puts the name of the tag and puts that it's a video response to and the name of the channel. I am not going to tell you to do that because I'm not going to change the dynamics of how things work in BookTube, but I'm not going to tag anyone. You know, I don't usually tag anyone in my tag videos anyway. So just if you see this video and you think it's fun, I would love to see your answers. Please let me know in the comments if you do it, because I would love to binge more videos of this tag, but now with books instead of decks. So without further ado, I'm just going to go straight ahead with the prompts. Okay, so prompt number 1 is for the sin of pride. What is a book you love saying you read because it makes you sound smart? So basically you love bragging about the fact that you read that book. And for me, definitely it would be 100 Years of Solitude. I think it is a very the original tag says, what was a card deck you bought for flexing? And I really enjoy that wording, but I have seen many videos where people say, oh, I don't know what flexing means, so I didn't want to keep the word flexing. But if you know what it means, then by all means take it into consideration. What book you love flexing with, saying that you read it. If you don't know what that concept means, then just what book you love saying you read because it makes you sound smart. And again, for me, it would be 100 Years of Solitude. Here in Mexico and in Latin America, it's one of those classics that smart people read, and so I love saying that I read 100 Years of Solitude. It's also considered a very difficult book. Not everyone likes it, and so the fact that I liked it and that it's one of my favorite books, and I love saying it because, you know, pride, it makes me feel prideful, is that a word? To say that I loved 100 Years of Solitude, and oh yeah, it's one of my favorite books. And in the English speaking world, I think even more, because even less people have read 100 Years of Solitude in the English speaking world, and even less people, or it's even more difficult for English speakers than it is for Spanish speakers, so it's even more of a flex to say that I read it and that it's one of my favorites. So that is prompt number 1. Pride, a book you love saying you read for the purpose of flexing or because it makes you sound smart. Prompt number 2 is greed. What is a book you won't let anyone borrow? I know a lot of book people don't like lending their books just in general, but what is that one book that you would never in your life let anyone, not even your family, borrow it? I have to be honest, I had a hard time with this prompt because I love lending out my books. I have no problem with people borrowing my books. You know those people that when they really love something, they become very protective of it and they don't want anyone else finding out about it. My sister is like that, where she'll be like, oh, I don't want anyone finding out about this artist that I love. I am the opposite. When I like something, I want everyone to know about it, and I want everyone to watch it or read it or listen to it just so I can discuss it with them, which is why I have a booktube channel, let's be honest. So I love lending out my books because if I want someone to read it and they are not going to buy it, then I'm going to push it onto them with my copy just so they read them, just so I can talk about it with them. And if I don't get it back, then I will gladly pay that price if it means that I will have someone to talk about this thing that I love too. And so what I thought was, honestly, the one thing that I won't let anyone borrow in terms of books is not actually any physical book, but my Kindle. I won't let anyone borrow my Kindle. On the one hand, because it's like lending out 1,000 books at the same time. On the other hand, because it has pretty stickers on them and I chose the stickers I wanted. I did the whole cover design of my Kindle, and I really love it, and I wouldn't want to lose it. And thirdly, and I think this would be the main reason, I don't want everyone to find out about the amount of books I own that have naked men on the cover. or shirtless men on their covers. I have a huge amount of books with shirtless men on the covers, with people doing suggestive things in the covers, and I don't think I would want a friend borrowing my Kindle and being like, whoa, Mariana, what are you reading? So that's the reason why I won't let anyone borrow my Kindle. Prompt number 3. 1, 2, 3. Wrath. A book you hate read, or one that makes you angry when you think about it. And, well, the one that came to mind firstly, because it's one of the most recent, one that I read last year, is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I don't understand the hype surrounding that series. I read the first book and I said, oh, okay, yeah, I see why everyone loves this. I read the second book and I thought, okay, I guess it's good. I read the third book and I was like, for the life of me, I cannot understand why everyone loves this series so freaking much. Okay, so I have a hard time talking about this book and why I'm so angry at it without spoiling. I am not going to spoil a specific plot point. I'm not going to say anything specific, but if you don't want to have a hint about anything that might happen in the series, then please go to the timestamps down below and skip ahead to the next prompt, because I'm not going to spoil anything, but I am going to say the concept of why it makes me mad. And I think if you are reading the series and you hear me talk about why I'm mad at the book, you might guess at the turn of events. So skip ahead. I'm going to put a spoiler warning. But in the end of the series, colonialism, imperialism is the winner. The first and the second books are a very good metaphor for criticizing imperialism. And then in the third book, in the end, the ending is basically saying, yes, we people of the Republic were wrong. The imperialists were right. So we are going to give all our autonomy to the imperialists so they can better our country, because we are savage people and we don't know how to run a country. That is the end of the Puppy War trilogy. And I don't know why no one talks about it. I actually body read it with a friend of mine who is also from Mexico. And when I finished the book, I texted him and I was like, why did imperialism win? And he was like, right, why is no one talking about this? And I watched so many reviews of people talking about, even reviews, hate reviews, people who hated the book, and no one mentions the fact that imperialism wins. That, what's the name of this thing that during Second World War, eugenics, that's the word, right? Eugenics. In the end, the people who do eugenics, they are portrayed as the people who know best and who are going to save everyone. So please save yourself the anger and don't read it if you haven't read it yet. And if you have, please tell me why no one is speaking about this. Anyway, that was wrath. Prompt number 1, 2, 3, 4. Envy. A book you bought because you saw it on someone else's channel, and that would be Dragon Mage by M.L. Spencer. I saw it in Books with Brittany's channel, and she showed it. It's an indie published fantasy book. Usually I get my indie books on Kindle because I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, and most indie books are available on Kindle Unlimited, so I don't like to spend extra because I can already read them with my subscription. But when I saw the hardcover edition in Brittany's channel, I was like, yeah, no, I need this book in my life. The next prompt is Lost. This is the cover by prompt. What is a book you bought because it was pretty? And for me, this would be I Wonder by Marian Banshees. I have a lot of books that are very beautiful and that I was attracted to them initially because of their cover. But that one specifically, when I bought it, I did not have any intention of reading it. I don't know if I will read it. Maybe I will. I'm curious now that I have a booktube channel. But when I bought it specifically because not only the cover but the whole editorial design. As a graphic designer, I talked about this book in a previous video. I learned about this book in a podcast, in a design podcast, and when I looked the book up and I saw it, I was like, I need this book, and I bought it as, book as object. Not for reading, but for owning, because it's beautiful. So I Wonder by Marianne Banshees is the lost prompt. Then, Gluttony, a book you really didn't need but purchased anyway. So this one is funny because, of course, most of our books could be answered in this prompt. Obviously, we don't need hundreds of books that we haven't read, and we keep buying books even if we haven't read other books, right? So most of the books could be in this answer, but that's why I put in all caps that you really didn't need. So I was thinking, one of these books that maybe you go to the bookstore and you have a specific list of books in mind that you're going to buy, and when you're going to the register, then you look at one in the table in the table on the way to the register, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll buy that one, and you don't even read the synopsis. Or maybe you were buying something online and it was 2 for 1, and you were like, oh, okay, yeah, I like that one. That type of mindless purchase that you weren't planning on buying. You didn't even maybe read the synopsis. You just bought it. You didn't need it, but gluttony. And for me, that would be Mapping Manhattan, a love and sometimes hate story in maps by 75 New Yorkers, which was compiled by Becky Cooper. And that one I bought in one of my trips to New York. It was my first visit to the Strand, the bookstore, which is my favorite bookstore in the whole world, or, the ones that I have visited. And I saw that one, and it was so pretty, but I obviously didn't need it. I also didn't buy it necessarily with the intention of reading it, but I bought it because, this is such a cool souvenir. Like, instead of bringing back an I Love New York pencil, I'm going to buy a book that is called Mapping Manhattan, and it's a story in maps by 75 New Yorkers. And the reason why I put it in this category is because, yeah, sure, it's a cool souvenir, but I bought it and I haven't opened it once since I bought it. I think I briefly glanced it in the bookstore, just like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. I bought it, and then I put it in my bookshelf, and I haven't even opened it since. So, yes, that is my gluttonous book purchase. Apart from all the other gluttonous book purchases that we have, right? Again, most of the books could be answered in this prompt, but that one book that you're like, you really shouldn't have bought, or didn't plan on reading, or haven't even opened it, that type of book. And finally, Sloth. And this is a long prompt, but a genre you read when you don't feel like using your brain. So that's the prompt. The prompt is a genre you read when you don't feel like using your brain, but I felt the need to add an explanation, which is, it's not because the genre is not quote-unquote smart, or that it's not good literature or anything. It's only that that genre so well, and you feel completely at ease while reading that genre, that it doesn't require any effort on your part. So, maybe a comfort genre would fit this prompt, because it's one of those things where you'll just pick it up and you don't need to think too much about it. Just enjoy it. Just when you're lazy in bed, you don't want to think, what do you pick up? And you all know what I'm going to answer for this one. In the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, romance. Romance is my sloth genre. That is the 7 Deadly Sins book tag, which was imported from TarotTube, created by Sylvain at Sylvain's Deadly Sins. Thank you so much to Sylvain for letting me adapt this tag into BookTube. I honestly didn't, just now I thought that I didn't even Google to see if there's like an older 7 Deadly Sins book tag. And I hope there isn't, but if there is, this is the TarotTube version of it. Anyway, so again, I'm not going to tag anyway. Go ahead and do it if you feel like it. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you do a version of your tag so I can go and watch it. And yeah, that will be all for today. I hope you are having a great week. I will see you soon with another bookish video. And in the meantime, I wish you happy reading.